This is a PieterOnTour exclusive. So, when you think of Austrian food, what pops into your head? Probably schnitzel, right? Maybe some strudel? And you're not wrong. They are absolute classics for a reason. But what if I told you about eating a plate of shredded pancakes for lunch, or a savory dumpling so light it practically floats? Yeah, we're going way beyond the cliches to uncover the dishes that are the real heart and soul of Austrian cooking.
You know, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Austrian food isn't about being trendy or overly artistic. It's all about this deep, lasting satisfaction. It's about comfort, quality, and creating a memory that really sticks with you. And to get the food, you first have to get the culture behind it. And that entire culture can pretty much be summed up in one perfect, untranslatable word: Gemütlichkeit. It's that feeling of a warm, cozy room on a chilly day, you know? It's the joy of being with good company and the deep satisfaction of a meal made with care. It's the reason why in Austria, a coffee can last for hours and a meal is a real event, not some race to the finish line. Honestly, understanding this is the key to the whole experience. Okay, let's start with the foundation, the main courses. Now, these dishes aren't about fussy, complicated techniques. They are built on an absolute mastery of the fundamentals, things like frying, boiling, and roasting, that have been perfected over centuries to get the most incredible flavor out of really simple, high-quality ingredients.
Just look at this. This is Schweinebraten, and it is a true masterclass in roasting. The pork is cooked low and slow, which turns the skin into this deeply caramelized, shatteringly crisp crackling. It's amazing, all while the meat inside stays unbelievably moist. Of course, you have it with these fluffy bread dumplings just begging to soak up all that rich gravy, and a side of sharp sauerkraut to cut through it all. It's just perfection on a plate.
Next up is Leberkäse, and its name is wonderfully misleading. It literally translates to liver cheese. But, and this is the funny part, the classic recipe has no liver and no cheese in it at all. Nope. Instead, it's this finely ground loaf of pork, bacon, and beef baked until it has a perfect savory brown crust. The texture is so smooth, almost like a pâté. It's a beloved and, yeah, often misunderstood staple. And this right here, this is how you'll see almost every Austrian enjoying it. You get a thick, warm slice of that Leberkäse, and it's served in a fresh, crusty roll called a Semmel. You'll find these at butcher shops and little sausage stands everywhere. It is the ultimate, simple, fast, and just deeply satisfying street food. Oh, for the ultimate in Alpine comfort food, you have to try Kaiserschmarrn. I mean, you could call it Austria's answer to macaroni and cheese, but it's so much more than that. Instead of pasta, you've got these tender, handmade egg dumplings called Spätzle, and they're just smothered in gooey melted mountain cheese. But the real game changer, the thing that makes it perfect, is that crown of sweet, crispy fried onions on top. That texture contrast is everything. Now, you might look at this and think, oh, that's just fried chicken. But Backhändel is a Viennese specialty that is totally its own thing. The chicken, which is often marinated in buttermilk, gets breaded and fried to create a crust that is unbelievably thin and delicate. It literally shatters when your fork touches it, and inside the meat is so moist and tender. It's just a much more refined, elegant take on a classic we all know and love. All right, now we need to talk about something Austrians have elevated to a complete art form: the Knödel, or dumpling. The variety is just staggering. Seriously. They can be savory, they can be sweet, they can be in a soup, on the side, or they can be the main event. If you want to understand Austrian food, you have got to understand the Knödel. And this slide just shows you the incredible range we're talking about. On the left, you've got a hearty, savory Specknödel. That's a bread dumpling packed with bits of bacon, floating in this rich, clear broth. Then, on the right, you have a delicate, sweet Topfenknödel, made from a light curd cheese and served with a warm fruit compote. I mean, it's the same basic idea, but two totally different worlds of flavor. And here we have the classic of all classics, the Semmelknödel. It's made from stale bread rolls, which sounds humble, but it creates this sublime, almost cloud-like texture. After it's been gently boiled, its one and only purpose in life is to be the perfect sponge for soaking up all those rich gravies, like from the Schweinebraten we saw earlier. It's such a simple but absolutely brilliant piece of culinary design. Okay, now we're diving into one of the most unique and, frankly, delightful parts of Austrian food culture: the tradition of the sweet main course. Yep, you heard me right. Elaborate sweet dishes served not for dessert, but as the main event for lunch. It might sound a little strange to us, but it is a cherished part of the country's identity. This tradition is especially strong up in the Alpine regions. And look, we're not talking about light little pastries here. These are substantial, hearty dishes that are designed to give you fuel for a day out in the mountains. So you gotta think of them as these delicious, high-energy meals that are perfectly suited for an active alpine lifestyle. So let me just ask you, could you imagine sitting down to a big plate of shredded, caramelized pancakes for your lunch? Not for breakfast, for lunch. Because in Austria, that is not a hypothetical question at all. It's a beloved tradition. And this is it, Kaiserschmarrn, which has the best translation ever, the emperor's mess. It's a fluffy, eggy pancake that's literally torn into bite-sized pieces while it's cooking, and then it's all caramelized in butter and sugar. The result is this irresistible mix of soft, fluffy insides and crispy, sweet edges. And you eat it with a tart fruit compote to cut through all that richness. It is, without a doubt, Alpine soul food. Another superstar of the sweet main course world is the Germknödel. This thing is a huge, feather-light yeast dumpling steamed until it's just impossibly fluffy. And then, hidden inside, there's this core of rich, spiced plum jam. It's served under a blanket of ground poppy seeds and then just drenched in melted butter. That balance between the airy dough, the tart filling, and that nutty, rich topping is just exquisite. And then, in the summer, when the apricots are perfect, you'll find Marlenknödel. They take a whole, ripe apricot, wrap it in this delicate dough, boil it gently, and then roll the whole thing in a coating of sweet, buttery, toasted breadcrumbs. That contrast between the warm, soft fruit inside and the crisp, sweet outside is just sublime. It's a true celebration of the season, served right up as a main course. So, with a culture that happily eats sweet dishes for lunch, you can probably guess that Austria's actual dessert tradition is completely world-class. I mean, from legendary cakes like the Sockertorte to an endless variety of delicate pastries, the country's love affair with all things sweet goes way beyond the midday meal. Take the classic Apfelstrudel, for instance. The real secret to a great one isn't actually the filling, it's the pastry. The dough is stretched by hand until it's paper thin. I mean, they say you should be able to read a newspaper through it. That's how translucent it is. It's a ton of work, but that technique creates a crust that is unbelievably light and flaky. It's a world away from a heavy pie crust and a true sign of a master baker. So, okay, we've explored all these amazing dishes, but to really, truly understand Austrian food, you have to experience the culture that it comes from. You have to find that feeling of Gemütlichkeit for yourself. And here are a few ways you can do exactly that. Go outside the city center and find a traditional Gasthof, one of those countryside inns that serves real regional food. Or spend an entire afternoon just sitting in a classic Viennese coffee house, just soaking it all in. Get lost in a bustling food market. Or for a really local experience, find a Hüttiger, that's a cozy wine tavern in the Vienna woods, and sample the new wine with some simple, delicious snacks. The Austrian table really is a place of history, comfort, and just deep satisfaction. It's an invitation to slow down, to savor the moment, and to enjoy a cuisine that is just unapologetically wonderfully itself. To start planning your own culinary adventure, go ahead and visit PieterOnTour.com for our complete Austrian food guide.